Hey guys, we're talking TNT's Claws. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I was up late night ballin', counting up hundreds by the thousand. I was up late night ballin', counting up hundreds by the thousand.
What up, AFTERBUZZ? It's your boy DJ Jesse J here in studio with Jeff Graham.
Guys, I love this song so much.
He just found it this weekend.
I'm the person that finds music like months after. I'm like, Jesse, I've heard of this new rapper Drake. Have you heard of him? He's great.
He's from Canada or something.
Jesse's always like, Jeff, that song's been out for a decade.
I mean, literally. He just actually put out his greatest hits album. All right, let's talk about it. So we're talking episode 7, Claws, TNT season 1. Congratulations on y'all season 2, y'all. The episode was called Escape. And baby, that's what it was.
Multiple escapes, because we had an escape from both Roller, but also from Desna, which we'll talk about.
So did. All right, let's jump into it. So let's just talk about Toby really quickly. So Toby was fierce with his little nails.
Evan, I think you watch the show. You know we love you, buddy. Good job.
Desna's kind of already now starting to put it in Toby's ears that he should maybe run the salon or kind of, get out from Uncle Daddy's wing and kind of, spread his.
Out from Uncle Daddy's wings and out from between his legs.
Yeah,
right.
There too.
It's a sexual joke I just made.
This is
they're
the
together.
synchronized swimming lessons aren't enough, Toby. We want more of you, and I think it's going to go in this direction. Especially we'll talk about it later on, but Bryce kind of.
I'm excited. I mean, I feel like we haven't seen as much Toby as we've wanted to, and it sounds like with this new direction, we might see more of him. I can never get enough Toby, so.
Okay, so we're going to do this episode a little bit differently, because I felt like it was, this is my brain doing this, but I felt like it was chunky all over, right? So we jumped I felt like we kept jumping from storyline to storyline, almost like a soap opera in this.
Yeah,
one.
I feel like this episode to me was like almost a little too much Claws.
Yeah.
I love Claws, and I love how, I've said this before, it's a say yes show. They greenlight almost every idea. This episode was a bit like, okay, let's put the brakes on a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I think there were, like the Quiet Ann. We see her on a picnic date with the detective. I think we could have done without that scene in this episode because I didn't really know where we were building it to.
Right. We meet Polly's girl. I'm like not quite sure.
Marnie.
Who?
What I did like though about Marnie, but again, this is I felt like it should have been in another episode. Yeah. Just left this one for the roller and the party. But Marnie, she said my mom got busted. She's basically running from foster care. And she needed a ride to the bus station. But I loved that when they were having this kind of one-on-one conversation, they were talking about like escaping and getting away from people. And she said, oh, is that why you pretend to be other people? And Polly kind of really brushed that off kind of quickly. And I was just kind of like, interesting.
There's something brewing there. Also, Christopher Williams, I'm shouting you out just like you asked in chat, buddy. There's something brewing there because... yeah, we've seen these kind of alter egos from Polly all season. She'll sometimes slip into a southern accent.
All these new characters coming in, knowing her.
Yeah, and that's exactly the other thing is every time a new character is introduced, they have some crazy history with Polly. So I feel like there might be something kind of deeper and more psychological going on with Polly that we'll be learning about in future episodes.
Ooh, well, I don't want to get into that yet. So we see Desna. She goes over to Jen's house. Desna keeps wanting to have this conversation with Jen. She goes over there, and she catches Jen with the Jewish line dancer.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for Jen.
I said I see this building into fruition. I see that little romance doing something.
Yeah, you called it. That was true. I thought he was one and done.
Honey.
But he's back.
He's back. We also had met Uncle Daddy's new business partners. And they're planning for this big party. And that's where Bryce kind of came in, we saw after that, to give Desna the keys to the salon from Jen.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
I know, this was an interesting development. I think
without a conversation, though, first?
I know. Yeah, all the Jen Desna stuff is going to get really interesting because they have such a deep history of friendship. We've been talking about how we're kind of sensing a Breaking Bad thing a little bit, where Bryce is an innocent guy who's getting pulled and sucked deeper and deeper into this. And now Desna kind of is too, which we'll get to. But yeah, that definitely, I raised my eyebrows when that happened, for sure.
I have a very interesting prediction, actually. Okay. No, before we even get into that.
Oh, Jesse!
Before we even get into that, I know.
Suspense.
I know. Okay, well, I guess we can get into this one first. So we see Dean and Virginia are apparently dating.
I'm like, I gotta say, I know it's dumb. And
I don't think it's dumb. I kind of am into it.
I'm shipping them. That's what you say, right?
Yep.
That's what the kids are saying. I'm into it too. And like, you know, I almost think that Dean brings out a sweet side of Virginia. And, you know, she's never dated a nice guy. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously would be a lot of challenges if their relationship got played out. And I think it's a really dangerous idea. And the writers are going to milk that relationship for all of its danger.
Yep.
But it was kind of sweet.
It was so cute. I was so into it. I was so here for it.
Yeah. And Dean's packing, apparently. Who knew?
I mean, the whole place was impressed by Dean, apparently. So, Virginia, I like that she stuck up to Desna, because I think sometimes when you are around people that you care about for a really long time, you only see them in that light.
Yeah.
And so I liked when Virginia said maybe you need to let him off his leash.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, like, of course Desna is overprotective of Dean.
Right.
First of all, family's always the most overprotective, sometimes to a fault. You know, I'm Jesse, your parents are Greek. I'm sure they're really, really overprotective with you. And it's something you're so grateful for and you love it, but then there's a point when it can actually be a hurdle.
Yep.
And it's like, you gotta let the dove fly. You know, so I like that Virginia was like, don't treat him like a project or like a kid, you know, treat him like an adult. Sure, he's got a cognitive disability, but, you know, I like it. Like, do you think Virginia really likes him?
Yeah.
I kind of do too.
There's like an interest there. It's kind of like intriguing. I think she likes his innocence.
For sure, she's never dated a nice guy before. That's not the normal guy that she'd be with, so.
So we see, though, when they went down to this art show, though, Virginia is disrespected by this guy at the pool, and Dean has no time for it, punches the man in the face. We get a kiss. We got an awkward boob grab.
This is like 7th grade, Jeff.
No, I know.
That's what I felt like I was watching.
No, legit, though. Actually, mine was probably prom. Like, touching the girl's boob, like, okay, this is supposed to be fun.
The pool scene, that's like such a classic move. Like, to build the relationship, gotta have the guy stick up for the girl. It's like the classic like 80s movie punch.
But I thought it was gonna get like really bad. I thought Dean was gonna go ham.
I know.
Like, I thought this was gonna be
just...
like, oh, we're gonna show you that you can't handle Dean on his own. This is why you should have listened to Desna. And I thought Dean was gonna almost murder that man. Luckily, he kept it cute.
He kept it cute. Yeah, the thing is, though, you do worry because, like, Dean grew up with such violence with his foster parents, and obviously Desna's tied up with Uncle Daddy stuff. So, yeah, when someone grows up seeing that, you worry that their instinct would be super violence. So I'm glad it was just a punch and nothing more, because the last thing Dean and Virginia need is more, like, shit to deal with.
Absolutely.
You know?
You know, I love that. I think it's authentic. I do think it's authentic. I think it's cute. I think that... You know, he genuinely puts a smile on her face. Speaking of smiles, y'all. So we have this here. It's called Smile Direct Club, and they believe that you shouldn't have to pay a fortune to get a smile you'll love. So Smile Direct uses proprietary, cutting-edge technology to help you avoid the inconvenience and cost of monthly office visits to your dentist and orthodontist, which cuts the cost up to 60%.
60%?
60.
Dang.
Listen to this, though. There's 2 ways you can pay. Single pay is a payment of $1,850. Other invisible aligner brands can cost up to $5,000. That's like $4,000 off. Okay, like what?
It's just a one-time $1,850.
One time. Or you can take advantage of Smile Pay. It's only $95 a month for 24 months. No credit check required.
Wow.
Hey. You can get started at home with an at-home impression for only $95. It's covered by our Smile Guarantee. So if our aligners aren't a good fit for you, you get your money back with this special offer. You get to save 50% this evaluation cost. You can also visit a Smile shop. During your visit, Smile Guide will take a 3D scan of your current smile. Then you'll be able to see a preview of your future grin. But the best part is you only have to go once, and it's only 30 minutes. Buy waiting rooms. And treatment time averages about 6 months, but can range from 3 to 10 months. So you guys will save 50% off the cost of Smile Direct Club's at-home impression kit by visiting SmileDirectClub.com and using AFTERBUZZ promo code at checkout. It's unfortunately unavailable in North Carolina. But you guys can visit again, that's SmileDirectClub.com, and use the AFTERBUZZ promo code today if you or your children, ages 12 or plus, or anyone you know is interested in straightening their smile. Make sure you guys... If you've received the impression kit, you must speak from personal experience. We want to know what you guys, if you guys use this, how it works for you. So make sure you guys check it out. It is SmileDirectClub.com.
The thing that's amazing to me is that, like, I had braces, and it was so inconvenient. You've got to go to the office every month. You've got to get them adjusted, and it hurts like a moaf. So this is awesome because it sounds like it's so much more so much easier.
I've never had braces, but I do have a little J. Cole crooked smile at the bottom, and so I've kind of always, this is easy to me because it's like I hate waiting.
Yeah.
I hate the price of a dentist. So Smile Direct, hey Will, what's up? Make sure you guys use that promo code AFTERBUZZ.
This is interesting. Real quick on Virginia and Dean,
Yep.
we got Chris Williams, who's new, but he says, I'm not into Virginia and Dean at all. Virginia did it for that big D, and that bothers me. It's true.
Did she though? Because she didn't know what it looked like before.
I feel
She's on an art trip. She went with him to go see the art show.
I feel like I will say her demeanor changed when she saw that D.
But I think, yeah. But I mean, if you like somebody, and you guys are enjoying each other's company, you guys are doing art shows, going on dates, and then you see, and he's packing, but you're already questioning yourself. You're like, I'm at the art show with this guy. He has autism. Like, is this like real? Like, what are my feelings? Is this a real feeling?
Right.
And then she sees that. It's like, oh, maybe it could be a real feeling. Let me see what that feels like.
It's an interesting turn. It's an interesting like reversal though, because normally on shows the girl will walk out in a bikini and she'll be all sexy, and then the guy's like, oh, I like her. I kind of like that this show, kind of made him the object, because that never happens on TV.
And I also don't believe her when she said, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I just wanted your first time to be special.
Yeah.
I don't know if I fully believe that.
You think she likes him?
I think she really likes him. I think that was her safety of like, he wouldn't know how to treat me, so push him away.
Right. She's like kind of protecting her heart.
Speaking of protecting her heart, Miss Honey, girl, you're crazy. So she's freaking out over the critics when her and Roller get to the art show. And I think she's just crazy because I don't think the critics were actually talking about her or looking at her.
Have you ever gone to an art show in Florida with zip ties on your arms in a wheelchair, Jesse?
Typically twice a year. I've
done it once, and I will say I could relate to Roller on that level. This was crazy. This show is crazy in the best way, but it just...
Like, how did we get here?
Yeah, would you have thought episode 1 you'd be going to an art show in South Florida with a zip-tied wheelchair?
Fucking bare pube lady in the back because she's going psycho and doesn't want to show her fucking pube art.
I will say that's a little gross for me.
Yeah, like I can't imagine what it smelled like in there.
I agree.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit on that. Like, it's a lot of pubes because that was a big art piece.
It was a huge. Yeah, that is. How many people? How many Mr. Emersons are there out in the world?
I mean, maybe she's just been letting it grow for a really long time. She just shaves it, collects it, puts it away. Shaves it, collects it, puts it away. Shaves it, collects it, puts it away. Now, while this is going on at the party, Jen is crying to Desna because basically she can't believe that... Well, she's coming to the realization of, like, you fucked up my entire family.
This was great acting.
And I'm kind of like, did Desna fuck up your whole family?
Right.
Because, I mean, you know what I mean? Now, she added to helping it, but Bryce is taking the crumbs on his own.
This is a great example of how people will kind of use denial or blaming. Granted, like, that's the first time Bryce has killed someone. No, Bryce killed someone else, right? This is Bryce's second. Who killed Titus's buddy?
Yeah, wasn't it? With Bryce, and he was with them.
Yeah, this might have been the first time Bryce actually has blood on his hands. But, like, he would have done it no matter who Uncle Daddy said it was, you know what I mean? So I think this is a situation where Jen would love to believe that someone else is responsible for Bryce's murder. But Bryce has got to own up to that shit because he could have said no to Uncle Daddy.
And she wanted to tell Uncle Daddy, but didn't. And then we see Uncle Daddy snorting coke in front of Bryce, which then causes him to start snorting some. And then it was kind of also just interesting, him and Jen. They're kind of
dynamic.
Well, yeah, the fact that he was like alcoholic.
Yeah.
And then weren't they the two that smoked the cigarette?
Yep. They're both addicts. And this can be good or bad, you know, because a lot of times sober people meet in AA and they'll become sober couples. But when one falls off the wagon, sometimes the other falls off the wagon too. So I'm kind of glad we got this because I've been singing Jen Lyons' praises and I'm in touch with her PR right now, so I'm hoping we're going to get her on. But she's New York based, but she might call in. But I think Jen's character up till now has just kind of been the sweet best friend, which you need on a show. But this was a really dramatic turn for her and a really interesting way to kind of round out her character. And she played it really well, you know? I mean, like, yeah, watching her as kind of the bored rich housewife was new, and watching her, you can sense the depth of Desna and Jen's friendship in these scenes, and it's great acting.
Especially with the flash of her telling Bryce about Desna. I believed it until the gunshot. Then I was like, oh, this isn't real.
We just got a clarification. Oh, I'm interrupting. Sorry. No. Jess writes Bryce did chop up the body. Boom. That's what it was with the chainsaw. Thanks for the reminder, Jess RS.
So yeah, definitely that flash forward scene was cute. That leads to Desna telling Jen the full story. We'll see how that kind of turns out with their friendship or whatnot.
I think it's gonna be fine until Bryce gets in trouble, and then it's gonna send like Jen will be fine with it until she's not fine with it in season 2, I think.
And then say something,
or like, this is all your fault. This would have never happened if it weren't for you, kind of moment.
We got the Russians back.
The Russians.
They went to Miss Honey's house. They found out that Roller is still alive. They went to the art show, and they picked him up. And now, I mean, this is going to be interesting because it's just kind of like, what's the MO here?
I know, like, how is this going to factor?
Why do we, if we think he's dead, why do the Russians still want him?
They're just like, it's a third factor in this whole thing, you know, because we have Uncle Daddy and we have law enforcement, but we also have the Russians. So that's going to make things complicated, which I appreciate, because if it was just a po-po versus drug dealer situation, that gets kind of boring. But this third factor, it's like the U.S. election. It might make things, speaking of Russia, it might make things pretty interesting. So,
so they now have Roller, which, I mean, really now this is just going to lead us right into to predictions. Squirt.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Did you say squirt?
I said squirt, like
skirt, but with I love it.
Squirt. All right, so Roller's back. So this is the biggest thing. We've been waiting for this moment to happen. He's coming back, and he says apparently he's going to act as if he doesn't remember anything.
I guess, or
maybe he doesn't.
I have no idea.
What if he comes back like him and Bryce almost switch? Like he comes back and he's like the Tony Robbins character, and
well, the thing is,
that causes Bryce to go mad.
Whoa! And then Bryce takes his seat. The thing is, that's interesting. I feel like I don't know if that's gonna happen, but if he's at a change of heart, like that could happen. Yeah. I kind of think that maybe he still loves Desna, you know, because they did have something before he left, you know. And that was like the fact that the focus of the entire pilot was their sexual chemistry makes me think that Bryce might not want to throw Desna under the bus. So,
well, or, I mean, let's talk about this, you know, because I said, oh, maybe he had to change her heart. He didn't, because he still continues to manipulate people.
Right.
As he was manipulating Little Miss Honey by fucking her. Maybe Desna was a manipulation too.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think she's tough. Like, I feel like there was something about, like, he couldn't resist her, I felt.
No, I agree. I definitely think that there's going to be something.
I just think there's some loyalty there. And, like, he was beating her, so she was acting in self-defense. So, like, she might have a case, and, like, he might know that, you know? Because Virginia was there, too, so there's a witness. And, like, maybe he knows that, like, despite the fact that she shot him, he's alive, and he sexually assaulted her with 2 witnesses. So, like, they're both complicit in this thing.
The fact that Virginia saw Roller, I wonder how quickly she's going to get to Desna. 1. 2, if the Russians get Roller, we see next week he's out and with Uncle Daddy and them. So does that mean we're going to know
about the Russians?
The Russians?
We have some predictions in the chat.
What are they saying?
And then we'll get back to the Russians. Drew Leonard says Roller's going to fuck with them for a while.
Yeah.
I think so. That's what Roller likes to do, like the manipulation thing you were saying. Jess RS, I'm sure Roller's going to have an issue with Bryce being in his spot. Truth. And Bryce is probably not going to want to give it up. Also truth. And Christopher Williams has, oh yeah, he's going to own Desna and the shop. I don't know. I kind of wonder if Roller's got something in his heart for Desna. I think if he's going to turn on Desna, we're not going to see it until the season finale. There's going to be a huge, because there's only 3 episodes left.
Like he's going to keep her hot and like bothered and like, am I going to say something? Am I not? Am I going to say something?
Exactly.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah. And there's going to be like a no shit moment in the finale. About the Russians, I kind of don't know. I feel like they've really just been teasing us like a little pubart all season. I'll never say that again, don't worry.
Yep, because I don't understand what that was.
But I feel like we don't know. We just don't know.
And what's going to happen to Virginia when Roller comes back and there's no tighty story? And then it's kind of like, well, what happened to the pig and the peanut butter and the...
I haven't even thought about that because, yeah, once Roller's
but
alive...
that's the thing about... the writing in this is great because that's what kids do. They create this elaborate lie and then it got them out of it, so now they don't have to think about it anymore. Are you going to remember running through the woods being dragged with the peanut butter and the hogs and... What's going to happen?
The more you lie, the worse it is when the truth comes out. Mm-hmm. And Virginia, a liar.
And, I mean, do we think anything... Do we think we're done with Miss Honey completely?
I do.
Like, we just needed her for that psycho moment of getting her out there.
I kind of do. Yeah, I don't see her coming back. But if she did, I wouldn't hate it. I will say it's bananas. But Jane Addams is killing it in this performance. And we haven't talked about it, but there's kind of this whole funny satire critique of the world of pretentious art. Yeah. Like, I've kind of like that, how the writer is like, everyone loves her pube art. They're like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Or even the naked guys that are like...
Yeah, what the heck was that? We haven't even talked about that yet. That was crazy.
Well, that was Dean's magical moment.
That was his debut.
You know? I mean, hey, I was here for it and it looked good. Everything looked good. And Dean, the fact that you can jump on in there.
He's killing it.
You know what I mean?
Dean's
showing off for your girlfriend.
Maybe he'll get in the strip club next season. I will say, watching Dean strip, it almost would be probably mean, you know? Unless he's amazing.
Not the way he grabbed her titty.
Yeah.
I don't see that going over well.
I hear you.
Any last predictions?
Chris Williams says I could see Uncle Daddy being killed by the end of the season, though.
That's a big kill.
That's a big decision, especially when you have Dean Norris in your cast because he's a great get. But I could see it too. I mean, it would definitely like position Roller to take over. I think Jen and Bryce are gonna have
be the bad guys for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Jen's gonna leave him.
Oh.
Like, I think, maybe not this season, but I don't not think things are good for Jen and Bryce.
And then Bryce becomes the heavy hitter bad guy.
Right, and like and that's a complicated thing because Jen stays on the good side with the gals at the salon, but her ex-husband, and there's the kids. Yeah, I think it'll be like Walter White and Skylar White from the show. You know?
That's a good one. I like that.
That's what I think's gonna happen there. I think we're gonna learn about Polly's past. And Quiet Ann, I gotta see something happen with her.
Yeah, because I'm asleep.
I'm sleeping on Quiet Ann.
I'm knocked out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to know what you guys think, so leave your comments down below with your predictions. And you guys make sure you hit us up over here at AfterBuzz TV across all social media platforms. You guys can subscribe to us on iTunes, download that podcast. If you can't watch us and see our smiling faces, you can listen to us. And you guys can keep in contact with me all week long at DJ Jesse J.
And guys, Jesse hosts a show on Wednesdays called The Beat. I'm going to shout you out because you're not going to do it for yourself. It's awesome. He interviews up-and-coming hip-hop artists, and it's great. So check out his show on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Also going to quickly plug, I have a show on Fridays called The Unproduced Table Read, where we table read awesome scripts. We're reading kind of a Game of Thrones-esque fantasy pilot this Friday called Empyrean. So check that out, and if you guys want to connect with me, you can do so. Oh, thank you. It's on Fridays at 10 a.m. on our sister network, La Popcorn Talk.
Boom.
If you guys want to find me online, you can do that as well. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey Seagram and Instagram at Jeffrey Cranegram. And keep those comments coming. It's fun to chat it up with you guys, whether it be live during the show or in the comments on the YouTube. So we love you, and we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. Pacific on AfterBuzz.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.